these dimensions over here are just to us to verify that the measurements of the flange is correct. We are now going to hide them. Uh, we need to go to another dimension, to another layer if we want to hide our current dimensions. So if you have a check mark on dimensions, go ahead and go back to 0, pull that down again, and now you can hide this dimension by going to layers, and then when you hover over the dimension or any layer, you're going to see a light bulb, right? And so you can check that and it will hide all the dimensions for you. Now you're going to go to layout, okay? And we are going to again select the box for the dimension and then go to property and change the viewport scale, okay, to 1:1. All right. Now you will double click inside the box, double click, and you will see that there's a darker box now. That's to indicate that you're inside. You're going to simply pan your drawing until it's there, and then go to the gray area and double click again. So now you're outside the viewport. So going inside the viewport, you double click. You go outside the viewport, you double click. Okay? So what we're going to do next is we're going to put in the dimensions while we are outside the viewport. The dimensions inside were just to view to help us verify that we did the flange drawing correctly. Now we're going to add the dimensions while we are in layout. Before we continue further, let's do a save as, and we're going to name this as exercise 2, and then we're going to add a dash final, and then click save. Okay, wait for it until it finishes saving. So if you see any notification like this, okay, make sure that you repeat that save until there's no notification now, and the name of your file is indeed exercise 2 final on the left side. Okay, so we're going to put in dimensions now. We are going to first create a layer. So go to layer and we're going to do an add, and we're going to name this layer DIM, and then we're going to select a color. Up, we're going to assign a color. I'm sorry. Let's just undo here. We're going to add a layer called dim. Press enter. Okay, and then we're going to select that color and assign that a color blue. And then we're going to pull this down and make sure we put a check or select layer dim. So before you put dimensions, make sure this one says dim. Okay, we're now going to put dimensions just like we did earlier. So click draw, annotate, and then click dimension. And then when you do dimension, you go first to property and make sure that you're going to when you put a dimension from the center here to the center here. Let's escape. Let's just repeat that. From the center here, or midpoint of center, and then center, you drag up, and it says 3 and 7/8. Okay. If this dimension is too big, press escape, select, and make sure that this is ARCH025. If it's not, it may be ARCH3. It's too big. Okay, make sure that you know how to change it. ARCH25. Okay, so you're gonna put all the dimensions. You can put in diameters instead of radius. So you can select a circle and then drag there and put in diameter. Okay, when you get to this angle, okay, make sure that when you select dimension that you are not selecting endpoint. Okay, because if you select endpoint and select the other endpoint, it'll show you that one. That's wrong. Okay, so make sure that when you select dimension, you need to select a line like this one. So select that and then select the other line not the endpoint or midpoint. So make sure you don't select endpoints or midpoints. When this one appears, okay, somewhere here, you can also do it somewhere here. When this one appears, you can click on it and then drag out. There you go. Okay. And then you can again change that to what the dimension should say. It should say uh, it should say 67.23. Okay, so make sure that you do go back, okay, select the dimension and override that 67.23 and then use percent D to show the degree and then press enter. Okay. So if the dimension is too much or too big or too small, simply click this and then drag out. Okay. And then you can fit your 6723. You can also select the grip of 6723 so you can drag it inside a little bit so it stays away or it fits inside. So press escape and then that's how it should look like. Go ahead and finish all the dimension as it shows on here. Okay, so make sure that you show all the pertinent dimensions that's required, and then we're going to go and submit this with your stamp later. Okay, so from time to time, make sure you click save. All right.